So we have a tweet here from Drama Alert that says Raja Jackson, I believe that's how you say his name, 25, son of Quentin Rampage Jackson, attacked wrestler Stuart Smith last night, nearly killing him. Rampage shared a statement in defense of his son. We're going to take a look at this statement in a little bit, but first I want to talk about this. This is a video. I paused it in a certain spot, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I'm not going to be showing the video in its entirety because I don't think YouTube would appreciate that, and I can't even censor it so that it would be okay on YouTube. If I censored this so that it was YouTube friendly, there would be nothing to see. It would just be a blurry screen. That's it. So I'm not going to be showing you the video. If that's all you're here for is just to see the violence, go somewhere else. That's not what this channel is about. Go be a weirdo on Drama Alerts thing or whatever. But I paused it here because, as you can see, it appears that this guy is out cold. But the thing is, he hasn't taken any punches yet. This is after a slam that Raja delivered to him, much like some of the knockouts that his dad has actually had over his career. There was one in particular that is very, very famous. But Raja picked this dude up and slammed him against the mat, and he appears as though he is out cold right now. Now, this is partially what makes it so scary to me and anybody else who is a little bit aware of how head trauma works, right? So the thing about losing consciousness due to a blow to the head is that it is usually due to, or at the very least, paired up with a concussion. This guy had the back of his head slammed against the mat, and what probably happened is when his head hit, his brain went bang right up against the inside of his skull. That is what a concussion is. It's when your brain smashes up against your skull and there's bruising that is caused. Now, I learned in high school there is a thing called second impact syndrome, which we're going to take a look here. Second impact syndrome, or SIS, occurs when the brain swells rapidly and catastrophically after a person has had a second concussion before symptoms from an earlier one have subsided. This is something that we were very careful with when we were playing football, because I mean, football is a place where there can sometimes be a lot of helmet to helmet contact, helmet to shoulder contact, things like that. And we were always, always, always on the lookout from it. I actually remember there was a case of amnesia on the team. I believe it was my sophomore year, I think it was. Somebody actually, I don't think they lost consciousness, but they got hit so hard that they actually forgot their name, they forgot the plays, they forgot who they were, where they were, and everything like that. That was crazy. That's what makes this especially scary, is that this guy probably at this point already has a concussion, and he is about to take, somebody counted, I think, around like 20 to 22 extra blows to the head, unguarded, full force, kinetic energy just transferring unabated. That is crazy. And in my opinion, and I would assume the opinions of many other people, including some judges and some people who might serve on a jury, this is nothing short of attempted murder. This is not just an ass whooping. This was attempted murder, in my opinion. And I don't think this dude belongs on the street, and I would honestly dare to say he never belongs on the street. This seems like one of those cases where even though he apparently, because it says nearly killing him, he apparently didn't actually kill this dude. I don't know if this dude should ever get out of prison, if I'm just being honest with you. Now, one thing that bothers me, right, is that martial artists and even military guys, even though military guys don't actually have good hand to hand, they will get worse sentences for using their martial arts knowledge to defend themselves and things like that. I don't think that is the factor that should lead to this dude being put away for life. I think just the act in and of itself, regardless of how well he was trained or whether he didn't have any training at all, just the act in and of itself in this case should be enough to be able to put him away for life. I think it's kind of a bullshit thing that you should have a higher bar to be judged by simply because you have a certain hobby or something like that. I think that is un-American. I think it's unconstitutional. I think it is basically on anything good. I think it is ridiculous. But in this case, I don't know if this dude ever deserves to be free. We're going to have to wait and see what happens, and we're going to have to hope that justice is served. I hope that this guy is okay. It wouldn't surprise me if there is some kind of TBI. He may not be the way that he used to be before then. Hell, he may never wrestle again, depending on how bad it is. He might not have the coordination. You really never know with a TBI until you kind of wake up and get a feel for what you're able to do and not do. And it wouldn't surprise me if this dude is still not awake. They may keep him in a coma. Because the thing is, it's not just second impact syndrome that you have to worry about. There's a lot of other things that can go wrong when you get hit in the head, especially as hard, as square, and as many times as this guy got hit. Even then, there could be neck injuries. There could be other injuries that are associated with this. It doesn't just have to be the head. It could be anything. It could be spinal. He could have ruptured something from the slam. It's there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and it's really really crazy. But I do want to say one thing. All right, I want to read this. So we have Rampage Jackson. This is his dad, an MMA legend, somebody who is beloved by many people. We're gonna read it. I want to clear up the misinformation about my son Raja. I've been confirmed that the wrestler Stuart Smith, aka Psycho Stu, is awake and stable. Well, that's good to know. Raja was unexpectedly hit in the side of the head by him moments before Smith's match. Raja was told that he could get his payback in the ring. I thought it was part of the show. It was bad judgment and a work that went wrong. I don't think that was a work, sir. I think that was what they call a shoot. I'm not really a pro wrestling kind of guy, but I believe that's what I believe that's what they call a shoot. But anyway, Raja is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler, and had no business involved in an event like this. I don't condone my son's actions at all. He suffered a concussion from sparring only days ago and had no business doing anything remotely close to physical contact. As a father, I'm deeply concerned with his health and the well being of Mr. Smith. That being said, I'm very upset that any of this happened, but my main concern now is that Mr. Smith will make a speedy recovery. I apologize on his behalf and to kick for the situation. So, it's good that apparently Stuart Smith is awake. That's great. And he's stable. I guess that's good. Um, I don't like my understanding, right? Because I actually did see another video I just remembered of a guy from that promotion that they were at. He was actually saying, "Hey, you can get your receipt." I don't know what the hell your receipt means. I don't know if that's like a pro wrestling term. Like for instance, work, shoot, those are pro wrestling terms. I don't know if receipt means something in the wrestling world, but he was actually told, hey, you can go in there and you can bump this guy too. That's at least what the guy supposedly meant, but Raja took that as, oh no, go in and absolutely beat the fuck out of this guy to the point where you have to be dragged off. And to me, it's just that's not good enough. It's not good enough, right? I will say that I don't blame Rampage for trying to take a little bit of heat off of his son, and that's one of the things that I wanted to say in this video is that I don't think anyone should be going after Rampage or anything like that for being a dad. I would like to believe that no matter what, my dad would still love me and he would still want the best for me and he would still want whoever to go light on me, pretty much no matter what I did. And I know that if my son did something similar to this, I would be absolutely appalled. I would be disgusted. I would be disappointed. And I would be concerned for Mr. Smith, like Rampage said. But I wouldn't throw my son out. I wouldn't be like, you're no longer my son. I would no, I'd honestly I'd probably be making excuses. I'd probably try and make it that guy's fault on some level, if I'm being honest with you, which truthfully, it's kind of what Rampage was doing here just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit. Can you blame a man for loving his son to the point where even though he's not trying to get in the way of justice, even though he's not trying to get in the way of what Raja brought on himself, he still is going to say, hey, look, like this is what happened, my like it wasn't as clear cut as it seemed like, that's my son. I want to make sure he's all right, this, that, the other thing. Like, I don't blame Rampage for being that way, and you should not either. And if you have a problem with that, I honestly question who you are as either a parent, a father, or as a future father. Who the hell are you? And I would not want to be your son. I weep for your children if that's the way that you're going to be. Because the kind of person who throws their child under the bus, knowing the way the world is, knowing how uncaring the world is, that is absolutely positively disgusting. That is one of the worst things that you could do. It's very boomer behavior. It's very boomer behavior, if I'm being honest with you. Boomers loved to do that kind of thing. The world is uncaring, the world is unfeeling, and nobody is going to care about like you or your family or anything like that. So you better care about your family, and you better care about your family enough as to where they are going to be taken care of no matter what situation they're in. And people being angry at Rampage for this was actually a really good statement to make, in my opinion. It was tasteful. Rampage is not known for being an orator or anything like that. It wouldn't actually surprise me if he did have some help writing this, but there's enough of Rampage in there from what I'm reading, having seen this guy talk, having seen this guy's tweets, all this other stuff, that I think honestly this is about as good as we could have expected from him, you know? Rampage seems like he's probably a good guy and he loves his son, even though he realizes what his son did was unacceptable. And he's not trying to get in the way of any sort of backlash or um, punishment or anything like that. He's just saying, "Hey, man, like that's my son. I love him, and here is the whole story. So just consider that. Maybe Raja was a little kooky because he had a concussion. Maybe, it just bothers me. It bothers me to see people who are mad that a dad is being a dad. You know, it's bad enough that fathers specifically are so demonized today. We don't need to be demonizing dads who are being good dads. But anyway, that was crazy. All right. I hope that Psycho Stuart Smith is okay. I hope that he is able to make a full recovery and continue on with life as it was before, assuming that's what he wants to do. Maybe he'll have some kind of change of heart and decide he wants to be a painter now or something like that. I'm not sure. But regardless, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video as best you could. If you did, leave a like and also sub for more. I also have a Patreon, $5 a month for exclusive content as well as early access to videos just like this. And until next time, good luck out there.